Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. Two cables up, something close to you dies.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. You slip your fingers under the frozen lid. No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of... If you want to try again.
Equip the pry bar by going to the Tools tab in your inventory.
This orange machine is dead still. It has the ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you see the pry bar's metal?
Yeah, well, that's a good pry bar. I'm not criticizing it. But this ice cream maker is frozen I have no idea, officer. This ice cream maker isn't important enough to requisition a special tool.
Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker. Only the red cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the black one lies neglected on the floor. old call box. East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now.
You just can't win. Out of the rain and into the gutter.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there. Yes, just like the one Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look way more serious with that. Right, I have to get back to my homework now, before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
You have absolutely no idea. Familiar?
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus? Yes?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors. But what else did you find? Did anything?
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until you found that entity of hers. This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. So many walls all over Mon.
Are you trying to sneak up on me?
Logic error. She is not.
Pig's come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out. Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. Trying to sneak up on me again. Trying to snuff.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
It's the voice of someone who has something to hide, my liege.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to...
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The
Is it really that important?
like a nervous cat. He keeps stealing looks at the...
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. My name?
That's definitely...
No, of course not. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an
We will remove the body as soon as...
Oh,
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
no, not you. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more...
Last week? I don't know. Look,
He's an actor declaiming a soliloquy.
You didn't answer the question.
it was my Sunday friend.
He doesn't reply.
I'd even go so far as to say...
We will
Oh,
Wait, is some...
no, not you two.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week?
He's an actor declaiming.
You didn't...
It was my Sunday friend.
He doesn't reply. Gesturing no.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
No, for God's sake, I don't want you to cry. Listen, I really have to go. Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Once we found a way in, there must be another way into the building.
Hey, up here, piggo.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent.
The streets will not flow red within.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. Ask away, pigman. But I don't.
A brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism.
I ain't no snitch, pigstein.
Actually, there is a shortage.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko. Can't you tell? I'm painting a I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. This place is severely lacking. I thought I'd mix it up. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure.
She means the opposite. The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which. The woman on the boat does not notice.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an...
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from river.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. Watch your back.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of...
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines. The Beaton, my maiden name. Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the arse...
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from a...
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. What we do...
There was a touch of discomfort there.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of... And that is the terminal. Another subdivision.
The Wild Pines group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies.
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion. 20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs... A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like... They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the Great Unrest to re-emerge with a... You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners? Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cordelati. It's a pleasure craft. A 19-pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. My slough? I like it a lot. It's the...
I'm enjoying this part of the interview.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else? Yes, we are. We are on...
Technically, the neighboring Ozon and Fas Alamir island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Canadian.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued. It's for crossing long distance.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for...
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down. Have it your way.
Officer, I assure you I'm...
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's are. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. I mean...
Technically, the neighboring Ozone.
Okay, if you want to get technical. The point is, we're all on island. I haven't...
Actually, it's for...
Neither is...
You need to make this lady. You have the guns and the ammo. Take this class and...
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional...
Then what does that say? Does it say 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said.
She takes a sip.
Okay.
Nothing happens for quite a while. It doesn't.
My, it's as if there's a tiny spinner on the...
Except he isn't.
Of course. Lieutenant, I truly don't...
I told you his methods are unconventional.
It was quite a while ago, but I think... Good. Everything. Right up to, but not including. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Alum...
The octopus that straddles Revachon. The Emergencies Act.
Why? By throwing off half a century of...
You'd be shooting your...
But I am derailing us. I believe the official title is Senior Labour
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist... What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent or... Let's say I was not making the kind of progress.
And when did you?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially...
But the strike began in...
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont had...
This isn't the first time the union...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes, both times...
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and every worker...
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines, just so you understand, this is but...
An opening gambit, surely.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? So I hoped. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear.
Excuse me, from whom did...
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the...
She's being sarcastic. Don't take her performance literally.
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly... It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution, organized labor at its best.
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be,
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past. And your opinion, detective? If I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman...
disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and... Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. And this is my colleague from...
How curious. Why is that, detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. I suppose...
She must have been suspecting something.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very...
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply...
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my...
You're in. But
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martin.
they're profiting from this.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resource, or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it's...
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is meta-fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most Yes, women, men of wood. That's what fascism boils down to. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. There's a slow, painful It is one of big...
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchmen. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all. No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is...
The situation might have changed drastically.
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
You're back. Good. What can I help? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quick. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say...
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the... Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city.
How convenient that they're stranded like...
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. I'll be explicit. If you find...
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
How do you think they're financing this strike?
There was a shakedown of local business.
With all due respect to these desert cacti. Precisely. We did. On more than one occasion.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up and...
Well, here's your chance. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road... This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to... Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the...
Well, at least this solved...
What is that?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wonder since...
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3... It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. Of course, Detective. You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Is what you want to say, but it is... Look at that lady. Take a gander. Why, yes. Tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, while dull orange pearls hang. These are the kind eyes of the rich within reason. Now look at you. you misery-clad simian. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... You think your little communism protects...
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. This reality.
Yes, reality and experimental side case.
Ah, yes, the episode.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well.
We may be here a while then.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
A bird? A Svenicid? Ah. This or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. This one used to be mostly the urban middle...
Splat, splat.
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're called... She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. I can't. That's how simple it is. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture. Of course, no time for silly infracultures. There are more...
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
She nods slowly.
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I... These are for the big time, the revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Why, of course. We're talking Duke out Central. Full swing, No, I would say the apes were neutral. On the other hand...
It takes time for the apes to change and work. Perhaps what happened here was part of that time and part of that work.
Those would be the communists. Oh.
She likes the totality of it.
Indeed. Did they ever? Before they got...
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle.
Yes. The Insulindian deluge. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got... The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes. King Guillaume had him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully... The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, liberals are usually middle... Some were... They didn't win.
We.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. The coalition of nations. Grad, the moralist, at least not... This is...
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not.
A devout man of the center. The red... It wasn't... It made... Of course...
It was a funny...
From Revish... Why?
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie.
A city... The zone of modernity.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. Anxious to hear more about mineral rights? They are... Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else?
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Hey. Psst. Psst. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. You good. We need tender men like you building gargantuan. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie. Okay, not in so many words. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any? Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal. Too late to back out.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Voila, you're doing it.
Why, yes, I am rich. How much money?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more?
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the emergency.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. Tonight, you should take care of that, then. I'll also take a room at the Whirling. One cannot get much closer.
Trying to sneak.
The theme on that pinball machine is a standard royalist theme, clinging to a picture book version of the past century, waiting for the king to come back and cast out all the profiteers. The contemporary period stands still. The fated
Hello again, sweetie.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would...
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those. Thank you anyway.
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my stuff. I think fugue states are more your forte, officer. Yes? Yes, have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please...
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake.
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Yes?
The door is closed. Still, the lieutenant gives you a quick glance. This door can only be opened. This is the door to the room you...
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the...
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, I have a cigarette every night when I go over...
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down, but we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime scene. That's great. As for we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. We tried to interview the Wild Palms rep, but she asked that. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
If Kim is emphasizing something...
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive. especially for a man your age. And in those nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Ravachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal. Yes, the last time was 4 years ago. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best. That's an improbability, perhaps even impossibility. Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government court. The coalition government. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Ravachol or the coalition government. Be sentimental if you like. Either way.
Or if they think you do. The dying lights of the city shimmer below. An aerostatic passes overhead. The whiskers of its floodlights on the ground.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. They're a union of center-left and center... Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you...
Something kind and something almost... something ominous.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it does... Do you? We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martin. Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market. Past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past...
Yes?
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet. The fan is spinning. The bed is cold and not particularly.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out, and then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eye. Maybe it's the bed's fault. It barely covers your toes. Stretch it under your thrumming eyelids. You see its synthetic filling has separated into. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed. Something to do with. What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? What it says on the can, Harry? Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. On the bad day, reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs? That's right, funky baby. And you tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have... No, it's gone. You failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Isla. You really dropped the ball, Harry. No, you haven't. You're just sleep-talking. And the act is wearing. You'll be back in those cold... Stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrush. You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Time to go to work in the shit factory.